entanglement between Chun Xiao and Su Xiaolan was rather intricate. They had walked together several times only to part ways shortly thereafter, leaving Chun Xiao without any explanation for their abrupt disconnection. This sudden cessation of communication had scarred him deeply, instilling a sense of helplessness. Nevertheless, those days were behind him. Now, everything was destined to turn in his favor. Chun Xiao turned and waved to a luxurious Mercedes-Benz, which quickly approached. "Xiaolan, where are you headed? I can give you a ride." Su Xiaolan's eyes widened in surprise. She was all too aware of Chun Xiao's family background from their 3 years as high school classmates. "Xiaolan, oh, I'm just going to a hotel. It's sweltering out. Let me take you," Chun Xiao insisted. Su Xiaolan hesitated, having never ridden in Mercedes before. "It's all right. We're classmates, not strangers," he reassured her. "Okay then." She settled into the back seat. As they reminisced about high school days, they naturally exchanged phone numbers. In his previous life, Chun Xiao had dialed this number numerous times without a response. He wondered if this time would yield a different outcome. Upon arriving at the small hotel where Su Xiaolan was staying, they bid farewell like ordinary classmates, neither saying much more. Watching the figure that had haunted his dreams from his past life, a smile graced Chun Xiao's lips. He retrieved the freshly saved phone number and dialed it. "Hello, Chun Xiao, what's up? Shall we have lunch together tomorrow?" he proposed. "Tomorrow?" Su Xiaolan hesitated briefly before replying. "All right." Chun Xiao's smile broadened. This was a stark contrast to her demeanor in his past life. Indeed, this time was different, and his dream girl was finally here. After hanging up, Su Xiaolan pulled out her ticket for an 8 a.m. departure the next morning, contemplated for a moment, then tore it up and tossed it into the trash. Returning to the hotel, Wang Li had prepared fruit and was feeding Chun Jiangwo. Chun Xiao unabashedly snatched some for himself, relishing the treat. Wang Li shot him a glare before washing more apples to slice. "Mom, let us tidy up and head home." "All right," she replied. "It is high time to return home. This hotel is uncomfortable, lacking the ease of my own abode, and it is rather exorbitant. The air in the countryside is far superior, which will benefit your father's recovery." Chun Xiao smiled, but remained silent. It was only after the car carrying Wang Li and Chun Jiangwo drove for a few minutes and arrived at Oasis Garden that the couple sensed something amiss. "Aren't we going home? What are we doing here?" Wang Li inquired. Chun Xiao smiled again. "This will be our home from now on." "Ah, you bought a house here?" Chun Xiao nodded. "What floor is it on?" Wang Li asked. Chun Xiao glanced at the brand new villa and replied, "From the 1st to the 4th floor." Wang Li was taken aback. Initially, when their son had the means to purchase a house, she did not react significantly. For the older generation, buying a house was a serious matter. However, owning an entire building was an entirely different story. The usually composed Chun Jiangwo nearly leapt from his wheelchair in astonishment. Do people really buy entire buildings nowadays? In this era, possessing even a single property in the city would make one the envy of the entire village. The notion of owning an entire building was beyond Wang Li's imagination, for she feared no one in the village would believe it. "Mom, although the house has been bought, it is not yet livable," Chun Xiao explained. "What do you mean?" Wang Li asked. "It requires renovation. All the room layouts must be dismantled, redesigned, and an elevator installed. The entire project will take at least 6 months." Wang Li was still processing this information when Chun Xiao produced a set of keys and pointed to the adjacent building. "There is a 120 square meter apartment that I also purchased. You can stay there for now, and once the renovation is complete, you can move in here." Wang Li was speechless, thinking to herself that her shopping for vegetables at the market was not nearly as effortless as her son's acquisition of real estate. "Why did you buy so many houses?" Chun Xiao smiled. "To help my father with his medical expenses. My uncle sold all his properties, and once this villa is renovated, I shall gift him the adjacent apartment, which is quite reasonable at over 300,000. Wang Li and Chun Jiangwo felt overwhelmed since Chun Zhao's return. Their traditional beliefs had been shattered, leaving them in a state of constant astonishment. Each day brought a new revelation, leaving them breathless. After grappling with this reality, Wang Li could not help but ask, "Son, is there anything else we should know? This is too much for my heart to handle." Chun Xiao replied, "Aside from purchasing the entire Lanshan villa, there is nothing else." "Wait, Mom, why are you fainting?" While lying on the soft sofa in their new home, Wang Li asked, "Old Chun, did your son really make this money from stock trading? Is he robbing banks?" Chun Jiangwo, with confidence, waved his hand dismissively. "That is absolutely impossible." Wang Li shot him a disbelieving look. "Do you really trust that rascal?" Chun Jiangwo shook his head. "No. I believe it is impossible to amass such wealth through bank robbery." In the afternoon, the team from Tongxiao Capital negotiated with the Lanshan Villa project department for 2 hours, ultimately agreeing on a purchase price of $55 million. Chun Zhao's acquisition of Lanshan Villa was not solely for personal residence. He also intended to establish a private outdoor training camp there. The intention is to establish a security company solely dedicated to the security team, training at the Lanshan base. This location boasts not only majestic mountains and rivers, but also a diverse terrain with distinct seasons, including severe cold and sweltering heat, which will enhance the operative's capabilities to perform under various climatic conditions. As for the transaction price, Chen Xiao glanced at it briefly, refraining from further inquiries and keeping it from his parents to avoid unnecessary suspicion. Notably, through this venture, Li Xinyu was directly promoted to manager, earning over 500,000 in commissions. That very day, he called Chen Xiao to express his gratitude and hope for the opportunity to treat him to a meal. However, Chen Xiao, pressed for time, offered only cursory responses before ending the call. The personnel from Jining had already arrived, accompanying Lin Yanran and Lei Yong back from the provincial city. Team Zhang San had completed the evidence collection for the entire case and came to report to Chen Xiao at Oasis Garden. Chen Xiao was exceedingly satisfied with their efficiency and capabilities. While they were conversing, Zhang San's phone rang. Noticing it was a local number, he activated his recording device and answered. Hello, is this lawyer Zhang San? Yes, who is this? Hello, I am Wang, the attorney representing Zhao Dehua. Zhang San glanced at Chen Xiao and continued. Oh, what brings you here? We'll see each other in court tomorrow. And I don't believe we have much to discuss. Lawyer Wang chuckled lightly. Lawyer Zhang, you should know that a powerful dragon cannot suppress a local snake. This is Lancheng. Zhang San perked up, feigning arrogance. Indeed, this is Lancheng. What can anyone do to me? Haha, if you know what's good for you. Don't meddle in affairs that don't concern you, or I will ensure you come with a life, but leave without one. Zhang San pressed a button on his recorder. Lawyer Wang, realizing the situation, inquired, What are you doing? Zhang San replied with a smile. I am recording the entire process of your impending demise. Your professional competence truly disappoints me. See you in court tomorrow, Lawyer Wang. He ended the call. Chapter 150. The opening move, Mr. Chun. Based on the evidence we have gathered, it is likely that tomorrow Zhao Dahua, Lu Jinping, and this Lawyer Wang will all be brought in together. Haha, well done, Lawyer Zhang. Chun Xiao replied with delight. No need to mention it. It's a minor case. After it concludes tomorrow, I will return to the Magic City. Should you need anything further, feel free to call. Understood. Zhang San was particularly courteous and willing to take on such a small case, due to Chen Zhao's remarkable generosity. In addition to the standard litigation fees, there were substantial bonuses for each engagement. The following day at the court session, Zhao Dahua was astonished to find that Lawyer Wang was absent. Zhang San accompanied Wang Li and Chen Zhangwo, with Chen Xiao silently trailing behind. Mr. Zhao Dahua, is it? Court is about to commence. Let us proceed inside. Zhang San stated. Zhao Dahua glanced outside the door. I am waiting for my lawyer. Zhang San chuckled. Lawyer Wang has already entered ahead of you. Is that so? How come I didn't see him? Did he arrive this early? Zhao Dahua questioned, puzzled. Come, you should go in as well, Zhang San urged. Zhao Dahua failed to grasp the underlying implication of his words. All right, let us go then. Upon arriving in court, Zhao Dahua searched anxiously for his lawyer. Where's my attorney? Did you not say he entered? Zhang San replied, Dear plaintiff, please be precise in your speech. I said he has gone in, not that he has come in. Zhao Dahua exclaimed. Where has he gone? To the police station. He is detained on suspicion of intimidation. I will pursue legal action against him subsequently. For now, let us resolve your case. Frustrated, Zhao Dahua retorted. Damn it, the lawsuit hasn't even begun, and my lawyer has already been sent away. What is the point of this? He stood up, intending to leave. Zhang San muttered to himself. Whether you leave or stay is inconsequential. With sufficient evidence, even in your absence, a verdict can be rendered. Zhao Dahua was pondering this when the judge arrived. At this point, there was no way for him to depart. After a series of procedural formalities, the judge requested, Plaintiff, please state your claims. Reluctantly, Zhao Dahua read from the prepared statement, which outlined that he was suing Chen Zhangwo for personal negligence leading to the accident, which caused significant losses to the company, and demanded compensation. The judge then turned to the defendant. Zhang San opened his laptop, presenting traffic footage from various cameras near the accident site, which corroborated that Mr. Chen Zhangwo had not violated any traffic regulations while driving. This was merely an ordinary traffic accident, and since Mr. Chen was transporting goods for the factory, it was considered a work-related injury. According to the labor rights protection law, the total compensation owed to Mr. Chen Zhangwo amounted to 120,000 yuan from medical expenses. 4. 000 yuan for lost wages, 4, 500 yuan for nutritional support, 15, 000 yuan for emotional distress, and 825 yuan for wheelchair rental. Zhao Dahua interjected, "What is this 82? 5 yuan nonsense?" After reviewing the evidence, the judge inquired, "Do you have anything further to add, plaintiff?" Zhao Dahua sighed, feeling overwhelmed. How could he compete with a lawyer when he himself did not understand legal jargon? He resigned himself, thinking, "Isn't it just money?" Zhang San chuckled. Zhao Dahua instinctively sensed trouble. Sure enough, Zhang San continued, "What I have presented is merely a labor dispute between you and Mr. Chen Jiangwo. Now I shall address the main issue." Zhao Dahua stammered, "What do you intend to say?" "I am formally filing a lawsuit against you in court for charges of organized crime, illegal business operations, extortion, intimidation, and forgery. Comprehensive evidence of all these allegations is contained within this disc for the court's examination." Zhao Dahua turned pale, realizing the gravity of the situation. He had come to target Chen Jiangwo, yet somehow found himself ensnared. "You are slandering me." In response to such impotent rage, Zhang San chose not to rebut, merely awaiting the judge's decision. "Your Honor, this case will be closely monitored by Quanta Law Firm," he reminded. The judge raised an eyebrow. Those in the profession were well acquainted with the esteemed name of Quangtu. However, he did not anticipate that their operations would extend to the small county of Lan. Preliminary evidence indicated that Zhao Dahua's culpability was irrefutable, and the case would be referred to the relevant authorities for verification before a verdict was rendered. Zhang San smiled, recognizing this as a standard procedure to verify the authenticity of the evidence, after which a verdict would be announced. Thus, Zhao Dahua's fate is now sealed. He is destined for over a decade of confinement, and the factory he managed is likely to meet its demise. After the judge's announcement, law enforcement officials promptly took Zhao Dahua into custody, transferring him to the appropriate authorities for detention. Upon exiting the courthouse, Chun Xiao remarked, "Lawyer Zhang, I am grateful for your pursuit of justice." Zhang San smiled lightly, responding, "It's nothing significant. Zhao Dahua has been a scourge for too long and was bound to face justice eventually. I merely expedited the process. The conditions in Lansheng are rather rudimentary. Once we return to Jining, I would be honored to treat you to a meal, Lawyer Zhang," he added. Zhang San nodded. "Very well, it's a deal. I shall leave someone to follow up on the case, and I will return this afternoon." Aware of Zhang San's busy schedule, Chun Xiao replied, "All right, I will make the arrangements." Zhang San, appreciative of the assistance, expressed his gratitude. At this juncture, the matter reached a conclusion. The last remnants of gloom faded from Chen Jiangwo and his wife's faces. Not only had their troubles been resolved, but their financial situation had also improved, providing them with the means to mitigate future risks. A genuine smile blossomed on Wang Li's face. "Chen Xiao, I wish to bring your grandfather back. Our family can now afford your education, and we have a home, so there is no need for others to care for the elderly. Certainly, let us allow grandfather to enjoy some peace, but I do not wish for our funds to fall into the hands of the unfilial," Chun Xiao replied. Wang Li nodded, assuring him, "Rest assured, your mother is not senile. They shall receive not a single cent. Let us plan for the day after tomorrow then. We'll return to our hometown together to fetch him." Chun Xiao had another task at hand, to bring back the brother who had previously served time for him. The day after tomorrow? Why not tomorrow? Chun Xiao pondered before responding. "Tomorrow, I will find you a daughter-in-law." "What daughter-in-law?" Wang Li laughed. "Just wait at home. You little rascal, with a bit of money, don't let it go to your head." Chun Xiao chuckled as he stepped outside. "Why not let it go to my head? What else is the money for?" As he lit a cigarette, Chun Xiao suddenly paused. What is the money for? That is a profound question. Delectable delicacies can become tiresome, and even stunning beauties eventually lose their charm. Well, perhaps not entirely in the latter case. Until now, he had been solely focused on earning money, without contemplating practical ventures. With this thought, an idea sparked in Chun Xiao's mind: lithography machines. In his past life, this contraption had caused immense suffering for all Chinese, as the lack of chips hindered the production of excellent smartphones, leading to a severe setback for domestic brands. As he drew on his cigarette, he mused whether he should seek an opportunity to invest in the chip industry. However, such endeavors could not be pursued domestically. He would have to wait until he had the chance to go abroad. Eventually, his financial pursuits would lead him overseas to engage with international capital giants. At that moment, his phone rang. Upon seeing the caller ID, Chun Zhao's lips curled into a slight smile. "Hello, Su Tang. How did the situation unfold today?" Su Tang replied, "Quite well. Today, 2 teams purchased stocks in the 45 billion yuan Ocean Group." "Excellent. Let us continue this tomorrow," he responded. Understood. The first day's acquisition of 45 billion was already commendable. Although the Ocean Group possesses a substantial volume of circulating stocks, a crisis has just emerged, leaving many hesitant. It is anticipated that in a couple of days, trading activity will become more vigorous, thereby amplifying the opportunities for Tingxiao Capital. As the summer twilight gradually descends upon the streets of Lan County, a tall, slender man strolls leisurely. He holds a phone, occasionally speaking and smiling. Two bodyguards trail behind him at a distance. All right, Yudi, I'm off for dinner. We'll chat later. Okay, but remember to think of me. Yes, understood. After hanging up, Chun Xiao dialed Li Wenli again. In recent days, several women had sent him numerous messages, and with a bit of free time on his hands, he decided to return their calls one by one. Chun Xiao, I miss you so much, Li Wenli lamented as soon as she picked up. I miss you too. Is everything well at home? Yes, it's quite nice, except for your absence. Chun Xiao smiled, noting that he still had no time to visit Shijiang. They would likely meet when school resumes. On the other end of the line, Li Wenli pouted. All right then, just let me know in advance when you return to Jining. I'll join you. Sure. The two continued their conversation for a while. Despite Li Wenli's reluctance to end the call, she eventually hung up. Yu Mengqi was practicing dance at home, while Zhang Ting participated in a local beauty contest and emerged victorious. Chen Xiao conversed longest with Sun Ying, their dialogue resembling that of an ordinary couple sharing mundane details of life. Sun Ying, hailing from Beisheng, was not in the same city as Chen Xiao. They spoke for half an hour, with Sun Ying dominating the conversation. As she approached her senior year, she began to contemplate her future. Yet, even before stepping into the workforce, she had grown weary of the corporate world. Throughout their discussion, Sun Ying expressed a strong desire to live in the Tibetan region alongside Li Jian. Chen Xiao took note of this and reassured her, all right, don't overthink it. I might end up working in Jining. Want to you stay to accompany me? Sun Ying replied with a smile, whether I stay or not is of little significance. Just leave a spot for me beside you, and I shall wait for you from afar. Chen Xiao was momentarily taken aback before responding with a grin. That is a certainty. For you, I have decided never to marry. Really? Indeed. Sun Ying paused for a moment before saying, not marrying can be quite wonderful. Any missing pieces I should make up for. Chen Xiao raised an eyebrow. Oh, how does the senior plan to make up for it? Hee, we'll discuss that later. I'm off to eat now, goodbye. Chen Xiao put away his phone and chuckled to himself. Senior, are you planning to provide me with a child or a home? With that thought, he entered a beloved spicy hot pot restaurant he had cherished for many years. Boss, I'd like a bowl for 6 yuan, extra spicy and numbing, please. This chapter's word count is equivalent to that of 15 usual chapters, so consider it an additional half chapter. Chapter 151. Are you his woman? The following day, at the Yulai Old Beijing Lamb Hot Pot Restaurant, a place Chen Xiao had longed to visit during high school, but could never afford, he sat across from Su Xiaolan. The location was chosen by Chen Xiao, entirely based on his own culinary cravings, disregarding Su Xiaolan's preferences. In truth, the sweltering days of summer are a lull in the season for lamb hot pot, as many are reluctant to indulge, fearing the heat. The flavors of this establishment, however, are quite commendable, and I have long yearned for them. A radiant and enchanting girl sat quietly, and upon Chen Xiao's words, she replied, Is that so? This is my first time here. Chen Xiao served her several pieces of lamb, urging her to enjoy. Don't be shy. We are old classmates. It has been 2 years since we last met, hasn't it? Su Xiaolan nodded, her heart heavy with guilt towards Chen Xiao, the boy who had once torn himself apart for her, whom she had hurt on several occasions. Let us toast to our reunion, Chen Xiao proposed. Su Xiaolan lifted her beer glass and clinked it with his before downing its contents in one go. The restaurant had only 2 tables, one occupied by Chen Xiao and the other by a group including the mountain cat. They were robust and imposing, yet surprisingly quiet. While Chen Xiao's table was more animated, the sound of clinking glasses carrying far. Are you studying in the provincial capital? After graduating high school, they had lost contact, and Chen Xiao was uncertain of her current institution. Yes, at the normal university, she replied. Chen Xiao, while eating, glanced at her. That's quite good. Do you have any plans after graduation? Graduation? Aye. Su Xiaolan's bright eyes flickered with uncertainty. She hadn't even considered that far ahead. I haven't thought about it, she admitted softly. Chen Xiao smiled. There's no rush. After all, there's still 2 years left. Indeed, Su Xiaolan responded quietly. To dine with Chen Xiao made her inexplicably nervous, a sensation she had never experienced before. Previously, it was always Chen Xiao who tended to her feelings. Yet at that moment, Su Xiaolan felt more like an accessory to the occasion. Why did you reject me back then and choose to be with that short fellow? Wang Sangju. Chun Zhao's question came unexpectedly, a query that had lingered in his heart without resolution. In the past, Su Xiaolan would have never entertained such a question. However, today, she hesitated briefly before finally confessing, I owed him money. Chun Xiao was taken aback, having considered various possibilities. Perhaps the boy had taken something precious from her, or threatened her with photographs, or possessed some unique charm that captivated Su Xiaolan. Yet, he had never envisioned it stemmed from a debt. Setting down his chopsticks, he inquired, How much do you owe him? 50,000, she replied. Such a considerable sum? Chun Xiao was astonished. 50,000 in cash during the early 2000s was an unimaginable amount for an ordinary family. He remembered that during high school, his monthly allowance was merely 500. Su Xiaolan nodded silently. Do you wish to know why? Chun Xiao straightened his posture, adopting an attentive demeanor. It seems Su Xiaolan had mustered great courage to say, I wanted to continue my education, but my family could not afford it. Chun Xiao asked, How are your parents? Su Xiaolan nodded, but then shook her head. My mother is unwell and has to care for a younger brother and 2 sisters. And your father? After posing the question, Su Xiaolan did not respond immediately. 2 tears spilled from the corners of her eyes, tracing down her delicate chin and along her fair neck. Su Xiaolan wiped away her tears, feeling that there was nothing left to conceal. After all, this was her fate. Her father was an alcoholic, a compulsive gambler, and any ne'er-do-well with no source of income. Chun Xiao was taken aback. He had anticipated that Su Xiaolan's family might be less fortunate, but he had thought it would be comparable to his own. The harsh realities of life were indeed limitless. It took considerable courage for Su Xiaolan to voice her family's plight. The scars inflicted by such a father might never fully heal. I need money, Su Xiaolan continued. I wish to continue my education. I do not want my younger siblings to suffer the same inferiority I have experienced due to having such a father. I aspire to free them from this household. Chun Xiao, please do not blame me. You possess many admirable qualities, and I am aware that Wang Sangju is not a good person, yet I have no choice but to accept his terms. As she spoke, tears streamed uncontrollably down her face. Chun Xiao handed her a tissue. While her situation was indeed tragic, he found it difficult to empathize deeply. He maintained a certain detachment. Viewing the matter from an outsider's perspective, would Su Xiaolan still be in her current predicament had he not been driving a Mercedes? That answer was elusive. However, one thing pleased him, her declaration of needing money. The need for financial resources was reassuring. During high school, he had scarcely possessed 1,000 yuan, making it impossible to acquire the things he desired. But now, the unattainable moonlight had descended, no longer so distant and unapproachable. Chun Xiao was not particularly noble. He was determined to rectify the regrets of his past life. With his prolonged absence from home, it was imperative to care for his parents while addressing the issue of marriage pressure post-graduation. A comprehensive plan began to form in his mind. Let us not discuss this any further. Let us eat before it gets cold. Su Xiaolan stared at the bubbling hot pot in astonishment. Cold? Is it going to get cold? At that moment, a figure entered through the door. Su Xiaolan turned her head, her eyes widening in alarm. Wang Sangju. Following her gaze, Chun Xiao indeed spotted a familiar face. Outside the window, Wang Sangju's pale visage was marked by an unpredictable expression. Oddly enough, while his face was white, the rest of his body bore a darker complexion. The reason he was considered a familiar foe was due to their numerous physical altercations in the past. Wang Sangju, fuming with rage, had been enjoying drinks with friends when a call informed him of Chun Xiao's presence with Su Xiaolan. Initially skeptical, he was now vindicated. His companions, including Shan Mao, had noticed the situation and were about to intervene, but Chun Xiao halted them with a mere glance. Chun Xiao, it's you again? Haunting me like a ghost. Wang Sangju shouted, his voice thick with liquor and his complexion flushed. What's the matter? Chun Xiao replied with a smile. Su Xiaolan is mine. This isn't over, Wang Sangju declared furiously. Chun Xiao turned to Su Xiaolan and asked, Xiaolan, are you his woman? After a moment's hesitation, Su Xiaolan shook her head. See? She isn't, Chun Xiao asserted. Wang Sangju's chest heaved violently as he shouted, his voice booming. Is that so? Pay me back. For many years, I have struggled to reach out to you, yet you casually engage in dates like it's nothing? You pretend to be so aloof and high-minded? Su Xiaolan lowered her head, tears streaming down her cheeks. I will fulfill our promise. We agreed that we would marry after graduating from university. Damn it. Sooner or later, I will have my way with you. So why do you bother pretending to be reserved? Wang Sangju scolded. Upon hearing this, Chun Xiao finally grasped the intricacies of their relationship and rose to Su Xiaolan's side, saying, "Let me accompany you home." Wang Sangju, feeling ignored, turned angrily and retorted, "Chun Xiao, do you still want to get beaten up?" Chun Xiao smiled. "What this? After years apart, you think you've improved?" Wang Sangju pointed a finger at Chun Xiao, cursing, "You little brat, back when you had Jia Fan and the others to protect you. Let us see who stands by you today." With that, he pulled out his phone and dialed. "Hey, Sugo, bring the crew." Chun Xiao watched him perform with calmness, while Su Xiaolan kept casting him anxious glances, whispering, "Hurry and leave. He's been involved in loan sharking since high school, and he knows all the ruffians now." Wang Sangju, upon hearing this, grew even angrier. He grabbed the first beer on the table and splashed it directly on Su Xiaolan's face. "Damn it, you truly are still infatuated with this scoundrel." He raised his hand as if to strike her, but Chun Xiao frowned, seized his wrist, and delivered a swift kick to his side. Having already consumed quite a bit of alcohol, Wang Sangju was sent sprawling to the ground. He struggled, but could not rise. Yet his pride remained unyielding. "Fine, just wait. I want to let you leave Lan County today." Chapter 152. Chun Xiao, the experienced driver. Chun Xiao ignored him entirely. Su Xiaolan, drenched in beer, appeared somewhat disheveled. However, her delicate features still radiated beauty, imbued with a touch of sorrowful charm. Despite hailing from a village, Chun Xiao always believed that, in terms of looks, Su Xiaolan rivaled any top-tier celebrity. If it weren't for her crippling insecurity, she would be even more captivating. Yet, she was too slender, lacking in flesh. Observing Chun Xiao's unrestrained gaze lingering on her, Wang Sangju's fury eclipsed his reason. Lan County wasn't large. There were only 2 main streets. Before long, a group of people arrived at the entrance. Some rode tricycles, others pedal bicycles, while a few emerged from cabs. They exuded an air of arrogance and bravado. "Sangju? Sangju? Where is he?" they called out. "Damn it, we were summoned, but where is he?" Wang Sangju struggled to raise his hand from within the room. Only then did the outsiders notice him and storm inside with fierce intent. "What the hell? Isn't that Chun Xiao, a university student?" Chun Xiao recognized them as old acquaintances, with whom he had clashed not infrequently. A smile spread across his face. "You lot still haven't changed at all." The leader of the group rolled up his sleeves, ready for a fight, but was held back from behind. "Suga, let go. Why don't we just leave?" Suga turned around, cursing, "Li Xinyu, when did you become so cowardly?" "When we see Chun Xiao, we must confront him." Having recently been promoted due to Chun Xiao's acquisition of the entire Lanshan villa, Li Xinyu felt a surge of resentment, cursing inwardly, wondering if this was still like school days. Now, it seemed all too easy for Chun Xiao to bring them to ruin. "Brother Su, grant me a favor. Let us call it a day," he pleaded. Observing the unfolding drama, Chun Xiao was acutely aware that while Li Xinyu had gained a commission from the villa, with a mere word from him, that amount could easily be rendered worthless. Brother Su, feeling humiliated, lashed out with a kick at Li Xinyu. "Are you trying to undermine me now, after I've shown you some respect?" Li Xinyu gritted his teeth, rising from the ground and quietly aligning himself with Chun Xiao. The onlookers were left bewildered. What on earth was happening? Even before the confrontation had truly begun, one person had already defected. However, the absence of one individual would hardly alter the tide. Wang Sangju had spent years navigating the underbelly of Lian County, and with a single call, summoned 30 to 40 men. "Ha!" Wang Sangju sneered. "Chun Xiao, we've yet to settle our scores, but today, I shall teach you a lesson." With a wave of his hand, he signaled his men to charge. Throughout this entire ordeal, Chun Xiao maintained an air of calmness. As the group advanced, he did not flinch but rather took a leisurely seat. Li Xinyu had already prepared himself for a trip to the hospital, hoping to exchange his pain for the opportunity to cling to the wealthy man's coattails. Su Xiaolan was utterly perplexed, unable to comprehend Chun Xiao's strategy. However, clarity soon dawned upon her as a nearby table of diners sprang into action, swiftly lunging at Wang Sangju with a kick to his face, sending Brother Su, weighing in at 200 pounds, flying several meters away. Although only 3 individuals were involved, they faced the 30-plus with unwavering confidence, displaying remarkable skill. The movements of the mountain cat were lightning fast. His opponents scarcely registered his strikes before they found themselves on the ground. The other 2 bodyguards, while not as flamboyant as the mountain cat, were also adept fighters, effortlessly dealing with the drunken ruffians. After a flurry of fists landing with resounding thuds, the scene quickly fell silent. Several bodies lay sprawled on the floor, while the remaining assailants hesitated in fear. Only the sounds of pained groans filled the air. It was then that Chun Xiao uncrossed his legs, stood up, and naturally took Su Xiaolan's hand, stepping over Wang Tsangju and his men as they exited the hot pot restaurant. Feeling the smoothness of her hand, Chun Xiao unabashedly held and kneaded it for a while before releasing it. Outside, as the warm breeze blew, Su Xiaolan came to her senses. Glancing at the fierce-looking mountain cat and his companions, she realized they were Chun Zhao's bodyguards. 2 years ago, he had been a destitute student, still on the verge of graduating from university, and now he had transformed into a wealthy individual. Had he struck it rich? Or had his father? Go home, Chun Xiao suddenly said. Huh? I mean go home. In a few days, I will visit your house. Su Xiaolan stood there, momentarily stunned, unable to fathom Chun Zhao's intentions. Just as she was about to inquire further, several Mercedes-Benz vehicles screeched to a halt at the roadside, and a group of sharply dressed men rushed over anxiously. Boss, are you all right? Lei Yong inquired. Chun Xiao turned back to glance. I'm fine. The mountain cat is quite skilled. The lynx scratched its head, pondering how feeble they were. Confronting them felt akin to chastising a child. Chun Xiao chuckled, instructing Lei Yong to stay behind to manage the aftermath. Brother Fong, please make a trip to escort my classmate home. Yes, boss. Lei Yong led his team into the hot pot restaurant to handle the situation. Old Lu stood by, and Chun Xiao remarked, Brother Fong is my driver. He will take you home. Wait for me there. A series of unexpected events left Su Xiaolan feeling bewildered. Oh, all right, she responded, following Old Lu to the side of the Mercedes. As the boss's driver, Old Lu immediately recognized the girl's beauty and understood the circumstances. He opened the rear door for her, inviting her to enter. Thank you. Su Xiaolan cautiously settled into the back seat, her eyes taking in the luxurious interior with a hint of discomfort. Chun Xiao glanced back at the restaurant, where Lei Ting was engaged in negotiations with them. Li Xinyu stood nearby, his face plastered with a sycophantic smile. Chun Xiao waved him over, and he hurriedly approached. Chun, I had no idea you were here. No worries. I'll have someone contact your company later. Li Xinyu beamed with delight. Thank you, brother. All right, off you go. Understood. I'm at your service anytime. Chun Xiao nodded, smiling as he watched Li Xinyu walk away, frequently looking back. He then retrieved his phone and dialed in Zhong. Hello, and Zhong. Lin Yanran will be in touch with you shortly. Arrange for someone to investigate a person in El Nexi Inn involved in microlending. They likely have shady background. Start gathering evidence, as it may prove useful later. Yes, boss. Additionally, once they arrive, they should not leave. Establish a permanent branch here. Our security company's training base will be located in El Nexi Inn. Understood. After hanging up, Lei Yong and the others had also concluded their dealings. They had merely discussed how to handle the situation, whether to settle it privately or publicly, observing Wang Tsangju, who was somewhat of a social figure. The group felt it inappropriate to escalate matters publicly. Thus, the issue drifted into obscurity. Chun Xiao cast a cold glance at him. Mercy was not an option. If any violations were uncovered, that scoundrel would certainly face consequences. If nothing was found, he would ensure that Wang Tsangju would not find peace in El Nexi Inn. Even without the incident involving Su Xiaolan, Chun Xiao was displeased by Wang's insipid countenance. There was a matter unbeknownst to Su Xiaolan. This scoundrel had once impregnated another girl, ultimately compensating her very little and using intimidation to resolve the matter. That girl had quickly entered the workforce and later, rumors suggested she moved to Nguyen City, her life irrevocably marred by Wang Tsangju. Upon returning home, Wang Li was happily chatting with Lin Yanran. Chun Xiao announced, Mom, in a couple of days, I will bring my girlfriend over to visit. But you said you didn't have a girlfriend. Bum li raplia. Chapter 153. Though beautiful women abound, each is different. Lin Yanran was taken aback, not out of any other reason, but because it was hard to imagine the boss having a girlfriend. Chun Xiao continued, Aren't you eager? I found someone local this time. If you approve, there's no need to wait until graduation. We plan to marry by the end of the year, aiming for you to hold your grandchild before I graduate. Wait. Mother, let us speak calmly. Please set aside the clothes rack. Fortunately, Chun Xiao ran quickly. Otherwise, he would certainly have faced some consequences today. Outside the community, Chun Zhangwo was leisurely pushing a wheelchair. Although he could not walk for the time being, such tranquil days were unprecedented for him. Since acquiring wealth, he felt the heavy burden on his shoulders vanish. He had not yet contemplated how to live in the future. But regardless of the path he chose, life was undeniably joyful. Upon seeing Chun Xiao approach, he smiled and asked, Son, do you have any cigarettes? Chun Xiao patted his pocket and glanced back. Dad, if my mother sees, please do not mention that I brought you cigarettes. Enough chatter. Light one for me. The two shared a cigarette while Chun Xiao squatted beside the wheelchair, silently smoking. What happened? Did your mother scold you? Chun Jiangwo inquired. Chun Xiao nodded yes. I suggested she find a local daughter-in-law to have a grandson before graduating, but she refused. Old Chun took a drag from his cigarette and remarked, ultimately, it was too hasty. You deserve that reprimand. Chun Xiao paused, stood up, removed the cigarette from Old Chen's mouth, extinguished it on the ground, and turned away with his hands in his pockets. Stop smoking. My mother disapproves. Chun Jiangwo exclaimed, you little rascal, come back here. Upon returning indoors, Wang Li shot him a glare, and Chun Xiao grinned. Mom, Old Chun is smoking outside again. You can smell his breath later. It seemed he could afford to scold Old Chun without remorse, unlike his own son. Wang Li stormed out with the clothes rack, and soon after, Chun Jiangwo's voice echoed. What are you doing? My legs are like this. It's fine. Your arms are still good, Chun Jiangwo replied. Successfully diverting the conflict, Chun Xiao settled back into comfort. At 3 in the afternoon, Su Tang reported on the day's work. A serious fire had occurred at one of the cinemas under the Ocean Group's film subsidiary, leading the relevant authorities to demand an investigation and rectification of the entire Ocean cinema chain, causing the parent company's stock price to decline steadily. Trading volume was unusually active, with some investors pessimistic about the stock, seeking to sell before it hit rock bottom, while others believed the cinema chain would swiftly recover, continuing to buy despite the falling prices. Tung Xiao Capital had invested an additional $500 million, bringing its total holdings in Ocean Group to 9.5 billion shares. Qin Xiao offered words of encouragement and reminded the employees that the weekend was approaching, urging them to rest well and refrain from overtime, resuming work on Monday. Just after hanging up, Yin Bingqin called again. Qin Xiao frowned. Hello, Sister Qin, do you need something? Nothing much. I merely wanted to ask if my boyfriend misses me. Qin Xiao replied. Did you dial the wrong number? Yin Bingqin retorted. You truly are heartless, killing the donkey after it has carried the load. Qin Xiao chuckled. Sister Qin, I appreciate your assistance. When I return to Jining, I shall treat you to a meal. But if you have nothing else, I am off to enjoy some time with the ladies. Yin Bingqin was speechless. Is it really entertaining to juggle so many women? Qin Xiao laughed. You simply do not understand. It is indeed amusing. Though there are many beauties, each is unique. Yin Bing let out a sigh. Among the talented youth of Quan Jining, only Chun Xiao left her at a loss. Returning to the main topic, she said, I sought you out for a matter. Have you been following the developments of the Ocean Group recently? Chun Xiao furrowed his brow slightly. For this operation, they were utilizing their own funds, and provided that the company employees maintained confidentiality, there should be no leakage to outsiders. Moreover, company employees remained on-site during the trading phase, refraining from external contact, and had signed strict non-disclosure agreements. Any breach of such agreements would not only lead to substantial financial penalties, but also imprisonment. Thus, under normal circumstances, the possibility of a leak seemed minimal. Additionally, there were people loyal to Zhong acting as a secondary safeguard. What's wrong with the Ocean Group? It's just an entertainment company. Why should it be of any concern? Yin Bing was unable to discern the truth in his words. The Ocean Group is one of the pillar enterprises of Atlantic Capital Group, and due to substandard fire safety in its cinema chains, it has been forced to suspend operations for rectification, which has temporarily dampened market sentiment. I wanted to hear your perspective, she continued. Chun Xiao replied. What perspective could I possibly have? ISNT Atlantic Capital your family's enterprise? Why not ask your father when a rectification will be completed to mitigate the negative impact? He paused for a moment before adding, moreover, as a direct relative and shareholder of Atlantic Capital Group, you cannot manipulate the stock of Ocean Group. Why should you concern yourself with it? Yin Bing was left speechless by his remarks. All right then, you carry on. Goodbye. After hanging up, she cradled her delicate face. Lost in thought, would Chun Xiao involve himself in the Ocean Group's current market trend? There was no intelligence from the financing company either. Oh right, with his capital, he probably wouldn't even need financing. Chun Xiao hung up the phone with a faint smile. Thank goodness I'm using my own money. Although Yin Bing had assisted him, he would not offer any advice regarding the subsequent trajectory of Ocean Group. Personal favors could be repaid in various ways, but never at the expense of core interests. In his own words, when he was making money, everyone else had to step aside. Only after he had amassed sufficient wealth would he entertain other matters. The following day, Chun Xiao rose early to run within the community, trailed by a group of bodyguards who needed to maintain their physical peak through routine training, so they accompanied their boss. The sudden appearance of this group of strong men jogging in the morning became a unique sight at Oasis Garden. Chun Xiao felt speechless as he observed the early risers, especially the elderly women, leaning over their balconies, pointing and smiling brightly, which sent shivers down his spine. The bodyguard team exuded a potent aura of masculinity that captivated both young girls and older women alike. Chun Xiao felt like an animal on display at a zoo, enduring the intense gaze of the women for 5 kilometers before he could no longer tolerate their fervent attention. Wiping the sweat from his brow, he returned home. "Is everything ready at Yin Yin, the Lianshan villa?" he inquired. "Oh, they're doing the construction today, installing the signal base station and completing other tasks. If all goes well, we should be able to move in tomorrow," came the response. Chun Xiao nodded. Today he would return to his hometown to bring back his vigorous brother and grandfather, just in time for their move there tomorrow, sparing them for being the center of attention here. "Mom, could we hurry? Why the lack of enthusiasm for going back home?" Chapter 154. The vigor of Shi Jun. In this era, there was no comprehensive village road project. The county road was riddled with potholes from the weight of large trucks. Even the superb shock absorption of Mercedes-Benz 600 could not mitigate the jarring bumps. Chun Xiao was tossed around inside the vehicle. Wang Li, on the other hand, appeared quite unfazed. "Son, how much did you pay for this car? It's far more comfortable than your uncle's old Xiaoli." Chun Xiao thought to himself that even his uncle's dilapidated second-hand Xiaoli was worth less than just 2 wheels of this car. Not much, just bear with it. If he mentioned the price of over 2 million, he would undoubtedly face a barrage of scolding. The road was tolerable until they left the paved surface and hit the dirt roads. The bumps were even more pronounced, and dust swirled around them. The once pristine Mercedes-Benz 600 was now shrouded in a layer of gray, while Chun Xiao's car fared relatively well. The vehicles of Lei Yong and the bodyguard behind them were enveloped in dust. After more than 40 minutes on a 30-kilometer stretch, they finally arrived at their destination. Returning to the village of his childhood brought forth a mix of familiarity and strangeness, with the latter prevailing, accompanied by hazy memories. Yet, one memory stood out with remarkable clarity: his childhood companion, Shi Jun. In his past life, when he found himself in dire straits and destitute, Shi Jun had given him all his savings. Later, in a fit of rage due to harassment from debt collectors, Shi Jun single-handedly confronted the company and ended up hospitalized, resulting in a 5-year sentence. These were moments that Chun Xiao could never forget. However, at this moment, Shi Jun was not in the village, but at the Taoist temple of Huang Banxian on the back mountain. "Mom, you all go ahead. I'll find Shi Jun." Wang Li understood the bond between the two boys. Since childhood, Shi Jun had always protected Chun Xiao, having fought countless battles for him at school. Without parents of his own, Shi Jun regarded Wang Li and Chen Jiangwo as his own, so her feelings for him were akin to those for her own children. "All right, go ahead and bring Shi Jun back to the county. Staying up in the mountains all the time has made him a bit daft." "Sure thing." After Chun Xiao finished speaking, he set off. Shi Jun, with his single-mindedness, appeared somewhat simple-minded, yet he comprehended everything in his heart. Upon reaching the foot of the back mountain, Chun Xiao spotted a robust young man swiftly carrying a wild boar. "Stop the car!" Chun Xiao shouted as he stepped out. Shi Jun." Shi Jun turned around, beaming with a wide grin. "Chun Xiao, you're back." "Yeah, I'm back." Chun Xiao felt a surge of excitement. Shi Jun merely smiled foolishly, his gaze solely on his lifelong companion, completely disregarding the vehicles and people behind him. "How is your master? Is he well?" Standing at an impressive height of nearly 2 meters and weighing over 100 kilograms, Shi Jun appeared muscular rather than overweight, even more so than Lei Yong. He set down the wild boar and scratched the back of his head with his large hands, resembling a fan. "My master is doing well. He says you're about to make your mark, and he wants me to follow you in the future." Chun Xiao couldn't help but smirk, recalling how many times Huang Banxian had uttered those words in his previous life. Upon encountering Chun Xiao, he began to speak in a cryptic manner about soaring to great heights and donning the yellow robe. Yet in the end, Chun Xiao found himself reduced to delivering takeout to make ends meet. Do not heed your master's fanciful words. He has not spoken a single truth. Shi Jun did not counter this. He had grown accustomed to accepting whatever Chun Xiao said as absolute, much like their childhood, when every time they found themselves in trouble, Chun Xiao would lie in front while Shi Jun would echo him from behind. He himself never told a lie, which earned him the trust of adults. However, what they failed to realize was the multitude of lies Shi Jun had spun on Chun Xiao's behalf. "Lei Yong, bring out the liquor from the trunk," he commanded. "Yes, boss." Lei Yong retrieved 2 cases of Matai, astonished in silence. The seemingly simple, sure done, exuded an unexpectedly perilous aura, akin to a jovial earth bear whose smile concealed the strength to rend all asunder. You all may wait here, sure done, and I shall ascend the mountain. Understood, boss. Sure done nodded with an innocent grin, effortlessly balancing 2 cases of Matai in one hand while hoisting a wild boar over his shoulder with the other. Chun Shao had long been accustomed to Sure Dun's prodigious strength, which he had honed through lessons from Huang Banzian. Despite the burdens he carried, traversing the mountainous terrain felt like walking on flat ground. Conversely, it was Chun Shao, who regularly exercised, that found himself struggling to keep pace due to his unfamiliarity with the rugged paths. Periodically, Sure Dun would halt to wait for him. Chun Shao, my master has stated that he wishes to teach you martial arts. Chun Shao waved his hand dismissively, breathing heavily. I have no time for that. Sure Dun ceased his persuasion, leading Chun Shao along a small, ladderless mountain trail. After half an hour, they finally reached the summit platform. It was still that dilapidated dojo, where an old Taoist stood at the entrance, one hand clutching a wine jug and the other a smoking pipe. By my calculations, today a distinguished guest arrives. Chun Shao, uninterested, brushed him off, as his words were always the same. Half immortal. Did you not predict my ascent to greatness? I am now on the brink of starvation. Huang Banzian, his eyes wide with indignation, retorted, impossible. You, my lad, shall soon don the yellow robe. It is merely a matter of time. I most certainly do not wish to return to delivering takeout, Chun Shao replied. Huang Banzian, adhering to his customary routine, disregarded Chun Shao's lament, nimbly rising from his reclined position to seize the liquor from Sure Dun's grasp. What is this? Why not procure some proper white liquor? Chun Shao was a loss for words. Fine, make do with this. I cannot find any white liquor. Huang Banzian roughly tore open a box, lifted a bottle, and scoffed. Extravagant and wasteful. The bottle weighs more than the liquor itself. I suspect you are simply stingy, unwilling to purchase me more liquor, and compensating with glass. Chun Shao offered no rebuttal. Half immortal, come down the mountain with me. I shall construct a grand dojo for you. Huang Banzian had already opened a bottle, took a swig, and grimaced, what is this? It lacks potency. In the future, do not bring me anything under 65 degrees. I am serious. Will you accompany me? Chun Shao pressed once more. Huang Banzian gazed into the distant sea of clouds. This is the convergence of dragon veins. I shall go nowhere. If I die, let me be buried here, and in my next life, I shall soar to great heights. Chun Shao was left speechless, bewildered, unable to comprehend what Huang Banzian meant by soaring to great heights. This old man, clearly possessing some skill, yearned for greatness yet steadfastly refused to descend the mountain. Very well, you can stay here. This time, I shall take Shizhuan with me and later hire a couple of caretakers for you. Huang Banzian turned and inquired, what is a caretaker? A servant. Oh, that's unnecessary. With that money, just buy me some more 65-degree white liquor. Don't be stingy with a bunch of bottles and jars. Chun Shao recalled that the old man was quite stubborn. He remembered Chun Jiangwo mentioning that when he was a child, Banzian encountered a black bear on the mountain, and no one would yield. He, unarmed, challenged a full-grown bear. In the end, he used the bear's paw to brew liquor and found delight in it, which he could not resist. It was only when the state designated bears as protected animals that Huang Banzian was spared from their harm. Nonetheless, he was a good-natured man. In the village below, whenever someone faced minor ailments, they would seek him out, and he would gather herbs from the mountains, effectively curing them. Afterward, a gift of 2 pounds of white liquor would surely bring a smile to his face. Chun Shao remembered being cured of several childhood illnesses thanks to Banchan's remedies. After spending some time in the mountains, where human presence was scarce and the scenery breathtaking, Chun Shao noticed a patch of farmland outside the temple, cultivating grains for self-sufficiency. In a different light, while it seemed devoid of everything, it actually possessed all one could need. Chun Shao resolved to send someone to improve Huang Banchan's living conditions upon his return. Despite his reluctance, Chun Shao was not one to seek others' opinions when undertaking tasks. Banzian, I am leaving. In a few days, I shall bring you a grand gift. Huang Banzian reclined on his chair, smoking his pipe, aside from the white liquor. Whatever you bring, I shall send down the mountain for you. Chun Shao mused, let us see whether my gift arrives swiftly or whether you discard it faster. All right, I'm off. Wait a moment, Huang Banzian said, tossing a tattered book to Chun Shao. I observe you indulge excessively, depleting your health. Practice with this. Remember, do not disclose it, and return it to me after mastering it. Chapter 155. Tenfold Leverage in Cotton Futures Note. To clarify, Shi Zhongfu's intention to short futures has shifted from garlic to cotton. Ahem, I am quite robust, Huang Banzian scoffed. Regardless, I have given it to you. Whether you practice or not is up to you. Just don't blame me if you perish due to a woman. Chen Xiao exclaimed, is this for real? Huang Banzian indeed possessed some skills, particularly in traditional medicine, far surpassing many doctors from nearby villages. While Chen Xiao might doubt him in other areas, Banqian's diagnostic methods were undeniably effective. Chen Xiao raised the book in his hand. All right, I understand. Although Shi Zhuan wished to accompany Chen Xiao, he felt a twinge of reluctance to leave his master. Huang Banzian scolded, go on. You've consumed my food for over 20 years and still wish to sponge off me? Go and mooch off Chen Xiao. Shi Zhuan replied. Then I shall return and buy you white liquor. Huang Banzian nodded. At least you possess a shred of conscience, unlike Chen Xiao, who brings me mere glass bottles to deceive an old man. Once they descended the mountain, Chen Xiao initially intended for Shi Zhuan to sit in the 600, but he had to bend down to fit inside. As a result, only the off-road vehicle was sufficiently adequate. Picking up Shi Zhuan brought Chen Xiao a sense of assurance, and he instructed Brother Fong, upon our return, inform Yinran to arrange for water and electricity access to the mountaintop and establish a base station. Understood, boss. The journey to retrieve Grandpa Chen Zhonghe was far from smooth, as Wang Li and Chen Jinjia's wife, Wang Shumin, engaged in a fierce argument. The root of the discord stemmed from the meager support Wang Li provided, which amounted to less than a fifth of what was necessary for the elderly gentleman's well-being, resulting in his deteriorating condition. Chen Xiao, weary of their quarrel and having no intention of maintaining ties with them, decided to bypass the discord and, accompanied by his bodyguard, directly entered to take his grandfather away. As for the feelings of Chen Jinjia and his wife upon seeing the convoy, he had no inclination to ponder. In his eyes, they were mere passers-by. On the way back, Wang Li swiftly forgot the earlier unpleasantness. Chen Xiao smiled, recognizing that this perhaps exemplified the power of wealth. Wang Li's life, once fraught with suffering, surrounded by poverty, had transitioned into a realm where, aside from trivial grievances, the future appeared bright. Consequently, her mindset had undergone a profound transformation. After a moment of contemplation, Chen Xiao busied himself with his phone. Suddenly, an advertisement popped up on his mobile webpage, brimming with analyses predicting a decline in cotton prices. Given the recent consistent downturn in cotton futures, it seemed plausible to the uninformed observer. Chen Xiao navigated through several dubious websites, discovering similar messages, all seemingly originating from the same source. Wasn't Wang Jian Kai apprehended? How could such deceptive news resurface to mislead investors? Before long, Chen Xiao received an unusual hidden notification on his phone. July 8th, cotton futures rose by 38. July 9th, cotton futures rose by 35. This further convinced him that someone was intentionally disseminating negative news. Coupled with information from Zhong, it was evident that Shi Zhongfu had been shorting cotton, making him the undisputed puppet master behind the false narratives. Although Wang Jiankai had been taken in, it was clear someone had stepped into his role. Regardless of Shi Zhongfu's maneuvers, Chen Xiao was determined not to miss his first futures trading opportunity. He picked up the phone and called Su Tang. Hello, is the futures account set up? Yes, it's ready. Excellent, tomorrow at the opening. Purchase cotton futures with a tenfold leverage. Upon returning to Oasis Garden, Chen Zhangwo, seated in his wheelchair, felt a surge of excitement upon seeing his father return. Dad, I'm sorry for the hardship you've endured. The elder, upon noticing Chen Zhangwo in the wheelchair, was momentarily taken aback. Jiangua, how come you seem more incapacitated than I? Dad, it's just a minor injury. It's nothing serious and I'll heal soon. Oh, that is good. Chen Zhonghe nodded, finally at ease. Noticing that Chen Zhonghe was dressed in clean, loose-fitting leisure wear, Chen Zhangwo felt puzzled. Has Wang Shumin been taking such good care of Dad? At the mention, the smile faded from Wang Li's face. Do you think that is possible? You know her character well enough. I intend to sever all ties with her. Chen Zhangwo replied, alas, knowing her as I do, if she were to learn of our current situation, she and the others would shamelessly come crawling back. Wang Li spoke with a serious demeanor. Chen Zhangwo, I warn you, do not be swayed by their flattering words. They have previously distanced themselves from our family, and that boundary should remain firmly drawn. Chen Zhangwo rolled his eyes, responding, I am not foolish. They do not even acknowledge their own father, so what significance does my brotherhood hold? Rest assured, just as the old man's temper began to rise again, Chen Xiao